So do you live in Virginia, or you're thinking about going down and visiting Virginia for one of their 2 amazing amusement parks? Well, this is the video for you. You're going to want to stay tuned to the very end because we're going to go over the huge Virginia battle. Busch Gardens Williamsburg
versus Kings Dominion.
Before we get into this video, we want to do something that we've never really done before, but we started a GoFundMe page for an organization that is near and dear to both of our hearts. He actually volunteers.
Yes, I do volunteer there.
At the Cleveland APL, the Animal Protective League. So we started a GoFundMe and we're trying to raise $100 to donate to them. So if you are so inclined to help out with $1, whatever you can do, there'll be a link in the description below. Please go down there and give whatever you can. It would be greatly appreciated. All the doggies and kitties and rabbits and what do they just have there? A goose or something?
Yeah, they have. It's just a shelter where they take animals in. They help them. They
provide low-cost vet care for people with low incomes. So great organization. We know times are tough, so if you can't do anything, we understand fully 100%. But if you can, please go and do so. So now into the video. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go Kings Dominion versus Busch Gardens Williamsburg head-to-head on 5 different categories. And then at the very end, you're going to want to stay tuned because we're going to kind of give our thoughts about the 2 parks. So let's get into it here. The 5 categories will be kids areas, atmosphere, roller coasters, flat rides, and value. So we're going to have a winner for each of those categories, and whoever takes the 3 out of 2
is the winner.
So the first category we have up is the kids area. Now, as you can tell, neither of us are kids. So when we visited these 2 parks, we didn't really spend a lot of time in these kids areas. So we're not the best judges of this, but we did see them and we did notice that both seem to have excellent kids areas. But we did a lot of research online to see what people were thinking about these 2 kids areas. And what we seem to find is that most people preferred Kings Dominion's kids area. I guess what people feel like is that they both have great collection of kids rides, that kids of all ages can ride, that stuff that parents can ride with their kids, and just fun for the whole family. But people seem to really like that Kings Dominion was like one large concentrated area.
Busch Gardens is more spread out.
So that seems to be a factor with a lot of people. Though people really did seem to like that Busch Gardens had like a large like playground type of area. But ultimately, I think we're going to have to give this category over to Kings Dominion.
Kings Dominion takes the lead at 1-0.
1-0. Busch Gardens, you are climbing an uphill battle right now.
Next up is atmosphere. So what do we mean by atmosphere? Atmosphere is just basically theming, scenery, and just the overall feel.
How do you feel? Do you feel warm and fuzzy?
Just the way you feel when you're walking around the park. Is it a good vibe there? Is it not a good vibe? Now, both parks have a lot of trees, so they're very wooded, and that also means that there's going to be lots of shade, lots of nature. We're going to give the edge to Busch Gardens Williamsburg just because of the theming around the park. The building, I mean, the whole park is themed to different European countries, so like each section is a different European country, which is really cool, and it is amazingly themed. So much detail.
It's great. Where Kings Dominion, they have the new section that was new last year in 2022, Jungle Expedition.
Which is a really nice area.
Yeah, that's a really nice area. That's themed really well. But basically, all of Busch Gardens Williamsburg is kind of like that one area of Kings Dominion. So like you said,
and in like way better too. Like Jungle Expedition is really nice, but everything about Busch Gardens, I mean, it got voted the most scenic park in the U.S. I think like multiple times. It is very pretty.
I don't think we're one to argue with that. So I think, like you said, that one's Busch Gardens Williamsburg. So now we have 1-1. Who's going to win this battle? Stay tuned to the very end. Our next category on the list are flat rides. Now, SeaWorld parks in general, and I'm talking any of the Busch Gardens parks, any of the SeaWorld parks, anything that they own, seem to fall a little bit short on flat rides. They're starting to pick up their roller coaster game really well. A lot of them have some great top-notch roller coasters.
Definitely.
But flat rides, they're playing from behind, and they're starting to add some. Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, has Finnegan's Flyer, the S&S Scream and Swing that they just opened like a year or two ago. They have a bumper cars, they have a scrambler, they have some flat rides, but I think we have to give this edge
to King's Dominion, because King's Dominion just has a lot more.
They got Delirium, they got Windseeker, they got all the traditional ones like the scramblers and bumper cars.
Drop Tower,
they got water rides. They just seem to have just so much more, just the pure volume. So now we have King's Dominion Dos, Busch Gardens Williamsburg Uno. Not good.
Now, it is time for what you probably came to see.
Ooh.
The roller coasters.
Yeah, roller coasters.
Roller coasters. All right. Which park has better coasters? Let's start with King's Dominion. King's Dominion has two absolutely incredible coasters, Intimidator 305 and Twisted Timbers. Both those rides are absolutely amazing. But
could that be one of the best top two in the country?
Top twos in the country? Yeah, it very well could be.
It's up there.
It's an amazing top two. But after those two coasters, it kind of drops off a little bit. You have some smaller rides like Backlot and Flight of Fear, which those two are clones, so you can see those at various parks. They have Dominator, which is a B&M Florida's coaster. That's fun, but nothing special. Now,
a 4D free spin, which is essentially a clone.
Which is a clone at like a million parks. It is fun. But now
I didn't like it.
But now we'll go to Busch Gardens Williamsburg. Busch Gardens Williamsburg does not have a top two like King's Dominion, but they have Pantheon.
They have a top one. Pantheon.
They have a top one, Pantheon. And then after that, they have Apollo's Chariot. They have Verbolten. They have Invader. They have Griffin. They have so many coasters that are all absolutely amazing.
But ultimately, even though King's Dominion wins the top two coaster category, as far as the overall roller coaster collection, we have to give this one straight to Busch Gardens Williamsburg.
Because of just the sheer amount of really good coasters.
So now we have a tie. We have 2-2. And our last category is indeed the tiebreaker. And this category is value, because times are tough right now for people. People would love to do all sorts of stuff that costs money, but maybe you don't have the money to do all these things. So you're like, hey, you know what? I can go to one amusement park. Let me see.
What is going to give you the better bang for your buck?
Exactly. So this one has a lot of good coasters. This one has a lot of good coasters. They both are fairly similar, but let's look at pricing. If you look at single day tickets for both parks, it's really no contest. Busch Gardens Williamsburg is pretty much over double what a single day ticket at King's Dominion is going to cost. So now you look at maybe a pass. Okay, maybe I'm going to go to one of these parks multiple times. You look at the cheapest pass for King's Dominion, and you're looking at $99. Where the cheapest pass for Busch Gardens is $180. So almost double. Plus that pass will have blackout dates. So I'm not sure exactly what dates. I don't know if it's just like all Saturdays.
So those are just dates that you can't use it?
Yeah, blackout dates are dates that you can't use your pass. So they're gonna say, hey, you know what? It's July 4th. This is a blackout date because we have so many other people come to the park. You're not allowed to come. King's Dominion and Cedar Fair parks in general don't do blackout dates for any of their passes. I mean, I guess you have to go with King's Dominion with the value, because you're going to get a great park at a much, much lower price. So if value is important to you, you're going to go King's Dominion. And so
that means that King's Dominion has won our battle 3-2.
3-2? But
that does not mean that we like King's Dominion more than Busch Gardens Williamsburg.
It doesn't?
It does not. Oh, okay. Because, wow.
I thought we liked whatever won 3-2.
No, King's Dominion won. Okay. But, wow, King's Dominion is a good park with some great coasters, like we said. I much prefer Busch Gardens Williamsburg over King's Dominion because of really two things. Atmosphere and coasters. which happened to be the only two things that Busch Gardens Williamsburg won. So really, a lot of times people aren't going to want all these categories, and so you just kind of pick and choose which categories you want, and coasters and atmosphere are the most important to me and you too.
And me, yeah. I preferred Busch Gardens Williamsburg as well. I think that was the superior park.
And plus, Pantheon is my favorite coaster out of those two parks. I like Pantheon more than any other coaster at either Busch Gardens or Kings Dominion.
Me too. I agree. And yeah, Busch Gardens, the entire feel, just walking around the park, hanging out, it just gave us a much better feel.
Yeah, Kings Dominion didn't have the best atmosphere. It kind of felt like a Six Flags park a little bit. It was raining, so that probably hurt our experience just a little bit, but it definitely doesn't have the greatest atmosphere, while Busch Gardens Williamsburg has an incredible atmosphere with some amazing theming and scenery.
So that just goes to show that things can be different for people. Mm-hmm. And so if you're a family of 4 or 5 and you have a couple smaller kids and you have maybe one older kid and you have to buy tickets for all of them and you have to think about the younger kids as well, then maybe value and kids rides and kids areas are more important to you.
Where Kings Dominion might win, or might be the one that you would choose.
Yeah, so ultimately everything is up to the person, but we just wanted to break this down and hopefully give an entertaining and an educational video for you guys. So if you enjoyed this video, please go down and like it. And right next to that like button is also a subscribe button. So if you're not a subscriber already, we would really, really appreciate the subscription. Or if you loved the video, then you can go down into the description and there's a link to a channel membership page. And these people right here were oh so gracious to join our channel membership and help out the channel oh so much. So we appreciate them. So you will get channel shout outs like this. You will get exclusive videos, exclusive pictures from trips that we take or times that we're at like Cedar Point or Home Park or something. So you get all sorts of stuff that exclusive stuff that other subscribers don't get.
Wow.
So, and then once again, there's that GoFundMe down there. And that is to the Cleveland APL. So if you can give to that, we would appreciate it. And the animals would appreciate it oh so much. So thank you for watching this video. And tell them.
We'll see you guys next time on Beach Cliff Studios.
He said it very well, didn't he?